We are looking at a major severe weather event today across much of the Midwest, including areas like Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and even Kentucky. Could be getting a couple of tornadoes today, along with strong wind gusts and even hail. I'll be breaking that all down in today's forecast, so let's get started now. Here is our Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. As you can see, that enhanced area, that dark orange area, that is a 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. That yellow area, the slight risk, that is a 2 out of 5 area for severe weather. And that dark green area is a marginal risk, which is a 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather. Let's take a look at our tornado risk. This is mainly a tornado risk driven setup, this outlook. We have a 10% hash tornado risk. We have not had a 10% in quite a while. I don't remember even the last time. It's been maybe like 4 or 5 months since the last time we had a 10% tornado risk, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure. But very high end tornado risk today. That yellow area is where that 10% hash is. That is where a couple of tornadoes are possible, and possibly even a few big and strong tornadoes are possible there. The 5%, a few tornadoes are possible. The 2%, expect a couple spin ups maybe, but nothing too severe in that 2% area. The environment is less favorable there. In the 10% and 5%, there's a lot more cape and a lot more ingredient for the severe weather setup. Here is our wind risk. We have a 15% damaging wind risk, which means this basically means 50 to 60 mile per hour plus wind gusts in that yellow area. In that 5% area, you guys could get 35 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts also, so definitely be well aware in any of these areas if you are outlined. So take a look at our hail risk. We can see that 15% damaging hail risk. That does mean we could see some small hail. That's basically the probability of 1 inch diameter hail. So we could see 1 inch plus hail in that 15% risk area. In that 5% risk area, we could also see small hail. It's just less likely because there's not as much cape, not as warm, not as much moisture. But let's go take a look at our weather model. Here's our HRRR reflectivity. This is our main short-range model that we use. When we're on the same day, this is the best model, most likely, that we use. This is the model that I like the most. So, we're going to see the supercell develop in about 3 hours, but the HRRR is popping out. This could happen sooner or later. But we see as it moves into Illinois, it starts moving to that favorable environment in that 10% tornado risk area. And you see the supercell starts to get way stronger. You see that huge hail core on this? This supercell also has very high significant tornado perimeters at this time. So very high chance for it to try to drop a tornado. Has a good environment to try to drop a tornado with this supercell. We start to see more supercells pop up in southern Indiana in about 8 hours. So the afternoon hours is going to be the afternoon into the overnight hours. It's going to be the main risk for this setup. We can see as we go ahead, it starts to move into areas like Ohio. This little cells down here into southwest Ohio could cause a tornado risk down there. But this one supercell is still very strong. You can still see it maturing. We're definitely gonna be watching this supercell. If we see this type of storm, like how HRRR is popping out, this huge supercell right here, with some mergers from up top, this definitely could cause some risk to a lot of people in Indiana and even Ohio. And we see more supercells behind it. As they go into Ohio, the environment starts to get less favorable and they start to kind of combine into each other, into one big storm. We still do have some discrete cells in areas like Kentucky and even some areas like Indiana as it moves into Ohio. And then as we go throughout the nighttime, the storm starts to get very weak, becomes a line of storm. Not much of a severe weather risk at this point, maybe heavy rain, gusty wind, but that's about it with the severe weather risk as we go through tomorrow, and then the storm will fully dissipate. It is a pretty strong low pressure system that is bringing this. There's also some snow up north with this storm, but because of that warmer temperatures we are having right now across much of the Ohio Valley Midwest areas, we are seeing severe weather instead of snow. So if it was colder, we'd most likely see snow with this. But since it is warm and we have a lot of moisture up there right now, it is causing this severe weather. Let's take a look at our cape. That's basically our storm's energy. Here is our cape, which is, like I said, is our storm energy basically. We do have just the bare minimum, basically, maybe a little bit higher. We have about 1,000 to 1,700 cape. Normally, we need about 1,000 for severe weather to happen. We definitely have enough cape here. But as we go throughout the night, that's when you see those storms start to die out. That is because we lose all of that cape. We only have about 500 until we eventually have no cape at all, because that cape starts to really quickly die out as we go throughout the night. And that's basically what is going to power our storms. And if we don't have that, they're going to be shear driven, which basically means they just won't have as much cape. It also lowers the chance for tornadoes, which is why there's a less chance for tornadoes in that 2% area. Because that storms, by the time storms get to that 2% area, the 2% tornado risk area, it will not have as much energy to power those storms, which we'll call it to mainly be wind and small hail, possibly with that setup. Let's take a look at our supercell composite. Here is our supercell composite for today. You can see we do definitely have some high supercell composite numbers going into 10s, 9s in most areas. We even see some areas going into 17 supercell composite. Based in even in Kentucky and Tennessee, some areas could get some storms, some supercells possibly. Be very weak in Tennessee area though. Mainly going to be Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio risk today. But basically a supercell composite, this is taking in multiple different parameters, multiple different thermodynamics, and it is combining them to see kind of the chances for a supercell, basically. So we definitely have very good chances for a supercell. You could even see that just looking at the reflectivity, which is basically just expected radar, as I showed at the beginning. We just look at that, and you can see there's so many supercells there. Let's take a look at our significant tornado perimeter, though. Here is our significant tornado perimeter, or a SIGTOR. Basically, kind of like the supercell composite, it combines multiple thermodynamics and shows kind of how good the environment is for a significant tornado. You see, as we go ahead, we start to get ones, even almost to 2 SIGTOR, which is definitely decent numbers. Just to be aware in those areas. And then as we go throughout the afternoon and the nighttime, we start to see areas getting into 1s, 2s, even almost going into 3s in multiple areas in Illinois and Indiana. And that would cause a big risk for these areas. Definitely a significant amount of significant tornado perimeter, which could lead to multiple tornadoes. We have a very favorable environment for tornadoes today. That's why we have that 10% hatch risk, which is a 3 out of 5 risk, 3 out of 5 tornado risk. We also have, even in Kentucky, we could see some tornadoes in Kentucky today. There is 2.4 significant tornado perimeter in southwest Ohio on the Kentucky border. Definitely, mainly in for Ohio, it's mainly going to be the south. You guys could see a couple tornadoes possible in southern Ohio, in central and northern Kentucky areas. Mainly going to be a southern risk for these states, so southern Indiana, central Indiana, southern Illinois, where they're going to have the biggest risk for tornadoes, because they're farther down south. They have more moisture, more cape, more storm energy. Let me show you our bulk shear too. Here is our bulk shear, basically our shear, like I said. They always come with the jet stream. See, if you have very strong shear, this does help with rotation. This is wind speed and change in direction as it goes as it goes higher in the atmosphere. And if we have high cape, we only need about 30 to 40 plus cape to have enough. Bulk shear to have enough for it to support robust storms that could rotate. Also, let's take a look at our updraft helicity. That basically shows what storms the model is picking up that has a updraft. Updraft is basically that area in a supercell that is spinning. Here is the updraft helicity on the HRRR model. You can definitely see, as we go ahead, some very good strong helicity numbers. This basically shows, you can see where that supercell starts. Supercell starts right here, dragged all the way across. We start to get to see more supercells under here, and up here, and over here. We start to see all the supercells. You can see each one of those supercells, basically the rotation pass. You see that one, that's the one I'm a little bit worried about, is that one that starts in Missouri, and it heads through Illinois, gets stronger, and stronger, and stronger, all the way to it starts to die out in Ohio. but in southern Ohio, it could still pose a tornado risk in that area. You can still see this long swath of that rotation track on that supercell. So definitely something to watch. Again, if you guys are in any of those areas I showed at the beginning of the video, you can rewind back. I will put timestamps on this video so you guys don't have to, so you can skip through some parts. But thank you all so much for watching this forecast. I most likely will go live for this severe weather event today. So make sure you guys do like and subscribe to my YouTube if you're seeing this on TikTok. Make sure you guys follow. But thank you all so much for watching.